Thank you, Chairman, and thank you to all our witnesses for being here today. I am one of the newest members of the Senate. As you can see, I am sitting at the kids' table down here, the most junior member of this committee, but the most excited because I was a former federal prosecutor, a judge, the Attorney General of the great state of Florida, and now I get the opportunity to take all of that I've learned and experienced, especially as it relates to seniors and some of the issues we're talking about, and delve in on a nationwide basis. And I want to thank you because as I'm hearing you, you're coming up with real solutions and recommendations, pointing out challenges in the way we are structured and the way we share information, the way we might approach this in a more organized, efficient way. And I haven't heard once that the way we can fix this is to throw a ton of money at the situation. In fact, I think I heard multiple times we have the resources, we're just not using them in the best way. And so as I have been here now for almost 5 months, one thing that continues to shock me is that we will sit through these hearings and will be, and I believe I've sat on a hearing of similar substance, and going down the line, we need more money, if you only give us more money, And it seems pretty now obvious how we have ended up as a nation with $36 trillion in debt, because there's a culture now here in Washington, and I guess it is now expected by everyone to fix a problem. The only way to do that is you just throw endless amounts of cash at it. And I have found over the course of my career in working with law enforcement and interest groups as to particular law enforcement issues that sometimes it's a leadership issue, or it's a coordination issue, or it's a structure issue. And it might take a lot less money if we fix that problem first. And so, thank you. This is a refreshing morning of people who know what they're talking about, genuinely offering solutions that doesn't just include throwing endless amounts of cash at a situation. And I want to echo something that Ms. Helm said. This problem spans all walks of life. Smart people are falling for these issues. And I think the specific reason seniors are targeted is because they have life savings, and sometimes they are not as adept or skilled at using rapidly evolving technology, whether that is to safeguard their assets that they're trying to manage online, or whether they're not used to using social media platforms in a way that is safe. So this is a challenge. As Attorney General, I noticed very quickly that our federal agencies and many times have a limit or a loss where they will actually prosecute. And sometimes that could be $5 million. And while the average person might lose what seems to be a little bit amount to a federal agency, when accumulated amongst all the victims, it could in fact exceed that, but we're not sharing information and we don't know what that true loss is. So in Florida, as Attorney General, we set out to create the first of its kind in the nation at a statewide level, working with our individual counties of law enforcement and even then our cities to make sure they knew that there was a state level resource to share this information, these victims, so we could accumulate that data and go after. And we saw some success right away. You have the skilled people at the statewide level that were able to help their local jurisdictions and law enforcement. And if it met a certain threshold, then start working with the federal government when they would take that. And I'll start with you, Mr. Burku. I think you alluded to this. Do you believe that having a federal approach or one person in charge of working with states at a statewide level to start developing the expertise and law enforcement acumen as it relates to cybercrime and cyber fraud and seniors is absolutely needed right now, because we're seeing more and more of these cases take place and could in fact exceed what would be a federal cutoff?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think it's right for federal leadership, for federal coordination with the states and across the federal government too, because even with the federal, the FTC, FBI, FCC, DOJ, they all have a role. And so just that we need a central coordinator that raises this issue to the level prioritization it deserves.
And I'll turn to you, Mr. Finta. You kept referencing the problem here are these silos. There's no information gathering. There's no organizational structure to have the folks that are dealing with it at a federal level interfacing with statewide, because most states don't have targeted teams like this. What would be your recommendation if one were to approach doing that at a federal level? Where would you even start?
I would basically start with what we already have. We've figured this problem out to some degree with respect to internet crimes against children. Right? We put ICAC task forces in every major city in the United States, predominantly staffed by state and local officers, with a vertical prosecution model, DA's office, U.S. Attorney's office working together. These ICACs are able to actually infuse the hundreds of thousands of leads they get every year. We could duplicate that with EJTFs and actually start to get our hands wrapped around this problem. And the thing that we don't understand, or that we're not seeing, is because there's so few cases right now, the amalgamation of the intelligence of those few cases will get dramatically heightened when you have more of those cases. So if we just mimicked that model and built these EJTFs, it would start to change things.
Thank you, Chair.
Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you very much,